Thank you. It was many interesting presentation today about nuclear safety, about safeguards, about technology. And now we are talking about licensing process in newcomer country. So our topic today is how to guarantee high level of safety and smooth licensing process in a nuclear newcomer country. My name is Mari Lieska. I'm advisor in radiation department at the Ministry of Climate. And with me here are our good colleagues from Japan, Dr. Okamoto from the University of Tokyo, Mr. TOBA from JICC, Mr. Ilmar Puskar from our environmental board, who is the current regulatory body, and Mr. Kööp from Fermi Energia. So to break the ice, there will be the really easy question in the beginning. So as this seminar also shows that this is definitely one form of international cooperation. So I'm sure that we all agree that international cooperation and relations are really crucial in nuclear field. So can you please list some key benefits of knowledge sharing in ensuring a smooth licensing process for newcomer countries? And taking into account your own experience, what form of collaboration could be the most efficient? Maybe you, Dr. Okamoto-san, will start.
Okay, so it is not an easy question.
Oh. Then we have to wait.
But it's very important to have an international collaboration because of the currently the decarbonation activity. Climate change is worldwide issues. To overcome such kind of the worldwide issues, the zero carbon energy sources, that is nuclear energy, is one of the biggest challenging solutions. So to do so, it is very important to having an international collaboration, not only regional collaboration, but also worldwide collaboration should be important. Because some country has a lot of the experiences. As you said, some newcomer countries may have still learning the experiences. So exchanging such kind of the knowledges and also the needs and the seeds, we can have some specific answers. Therefore, it is very important to having international collaboration for, especially for nuclear field. Because of the today I discuss about the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident. It has some big advantages of decarbonization energy sources, but also it may have some small risks for the environmental contamination. Therefore, we have to make it balance for the benefit and the risk, and we should control risks. Therefore, such kind of the experiences is very important having international collaboration. That is my point of view.
I will just ask more if you have an academic background. So what kind of form of cooperation do you think is the most efficient? Seminars or memorandum of understanding, or what are your thoughts?
Sure. I'm university people, so we are working on the researches. Research is for the more safety nuclear systems, or what happened in the Fukushima or something like that, to understanding the researches. That is one topic. Another is education. Maybe the people from around the world may joining our laboratory to understanding the research. Doing the researches, they may understand what happened in Fukushima, or they may know the advanced new nuclear reactor design, to do the researches. They have a lot of the experiences for education. So return back to their country, and he may educate another people. That will be a growth of the educated people, especially for the complicated nuclear engineering. So in my experiences, the education for universities, one of the biggest issues is education, educating the people around the world, especially for some key person, would be a very good experiences for me. So as I told in my presentation, in my laboratory we have many foreign students, and they are coming back to their home country to be some kind of key person of the nuclear company or nuclear regulation or something. So this kind of the human resource development would be my point, one of the international cooperation. That is my point of view.
Thank you. Thank you. Ilmar, your thoughts? Because
I totally agree with the talk of Mr. Koji. Exactly my point. So we are already moving in this way that we try to prioritize what kind of position with what kind of competences regulatory body will we need at first, because Estonia is a small country. We cannot hire 100 people at once. So it has to be built somehow. So we already doing this work. For me, education and also experience, two things are very important. Experience is one thing you cannot buy. It has to be experienced, like the word says. So in this way, the mutual cooperation with the existing regulatory bodies that have this experience is very important. And what I would like to see, this is the problem with the great big issue of independence of the regulatory bodies, that everybody tries to be smart in their own, is some way a burden also. But I would like to see the same approach from the regulatory side as it is already in the industry side. So basically we know what kind of countries are interested for BayWorks 300 currently. So why don't they have a mutual cooperation with the regulatory bodies similar way to try to align and harmonize regulatory approaches? So as Fermi also said in the presentations, try to use the Canadian approach. Okay, I totally not agree with the copy and paste, of course, but we must understand the legislative background. We must understand the review documentations, the guidance documentations, and discuss those topics freely. Because in my experience, I have experienced two ways. There is very many countries with quite a lot of resources, like US Energia has 2,700 workers in the regulatory body. We have 18. So there is some difference there. But there is a lot of knowledge. But there is, in the way, there is a lot of mistakes made. Yeah, you have to acknowledge that also to avoid them, because we are grading only something and learn from the best things that they have. So that's my approach. So education and also the experience.
Sure, I agree.
Mr. Toba-san,
yes.
You have also a lot of experience in the field and different in the industry side and the regulatory side also. So what kind of, what form you think is the most efficient? What kind of form of cooperation?
International cooperation.
International, but what form? It's like a memorandum of understandings or this kind of seminars, or what is the most efficient? How could have the most beneficial?
Yes, and the most important cooperation is with vendor country, and including the licensing side. And also, it's very important to get the information from the host countries with the same brand. And also the third-party country is a collaboration with the third-party country is important to get impartial opinion. And also through IAEA, like NESHI, and harmonization and standardization of the and SMRs in the platform of the IAEA is a very easy way to share the information. So I cannot say which one is the best, but you should apply and any kind of the opportunity to share the information.
Thank you so much. Kaspar, your thoughts about international cooperation and expectations?
So we have in Fermi been cooperating internationally for 5.5 years because that's the only thing we can do is to cooperate internationally. But talking about regulation, we of course looked into different types of regulatory bodies and their ways of working when we began to try to envision what it could be in Estonia in the future. And one interesting thing that came out was every regulator was very willing to discuss things that they would change within their own regulation if they could. So everybody is very open about ways of making their regulation more efficient or make processes faster. So I think we can really take advantage of that and learn from the regulators. And nuclear industry in general is very supportive of each other because we all know an issue in one plant is an issue in every plant. That's the nuclear way. We need to make sure that newcomer countries have the same support or the best support that they can have internationally, because we all affect each other when we operate.
Yeah, thank you. That's true. And we already discussed cooperation between regulators and between international organizations. And Ilmar, you also mentioned that it's important to have cooperation with operators or utilities. So that's definitely true. But it is really important also to find a balance between fostering collaboration and guaranteeing regulatory independence. So what are your thoughts about the ideal structure of this cooperation? Maybe Kaspar, you can begin. And what are like industry side
what we would like to have?
Yeah, what are the expectations?
I think one good example is we can look at countries that are close to us. For example, in Europe, in the Netherlands, they have something called pre-licensing stage and then a licensing stage, and it's very clearly communicated and clearly set forth what type of communication, what type of information is exchanged in which step, and it makes life of a future owner-operator much easier when during the pre-licensing phase you can go through all the preparatory work, all the questions that then when you go into actual licensing you already have all the necessary information. And of course we can also take an example from Canada where Canadian regulator and OPG, or the owner-operator, they formed an agreement. What are the expectations from both sides to try to finalize the timeline and make things clearer for the owner-operator.
Thank you, Ilmar. Maybe just your thoughts also.
I agree with Kaspar, of course, and as we saw in the last presentation, the cooperation between the industrial alliances aim to have the standardized design. So in a flow of that, I hope that after that comes the certification of the design in European level. So we end up, with regulatory support that we don't have to have the same amount of work done of evaluating design anymore, because it's already evaluated and proven to be okay, because this is the aim of the SMRs. They should be standardized and shoot for every kind of site. So let's see how it goes, but I hope it will change the way of thinking right now. And other thing that we have to keep in mind all the time, that usually in radiation protection, always the graded approach applies. But in a nuclear, does it? So now every country, when the SMRs are moving forward and they have to be licensed, every country will reevaluate the nuclear safety requirements to be possible that a graded approach will be applied, because there are numerous different SMRs design. There is different risks to be considered. So this flexibility, I hope the Estonian legislation will have in the future. Okay, thank you.
Mr. TOBA, you also.
Yes, regulator should be independent, but should not be isolated.
Yeah.
In case of the Japan, and they prioritize the independence, so they never work with industries. It's kind of the bad and experience. So in case of Estonia, please and to keep good relationship between the regulators and industries.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you see that this approach will change in Japan?
Japanese regulatory body has a big problem on the isolation.
Okay.
So the important thing is industry and the regulatory body, both objectives are safety, nuclear safety, same objective. So they have to discuss. They have to do the communication to achieve the goal of the nuclear safety, especially for the risk reduction. Risk-informed approach is very important for both regulatory body and industries. So in my experiences, the US NRC and US industry may have a big discussion, open discussion to go for the risk-informed approach to going to the nuclear safety. For example, the 10 CFR 53 is risk-based approach for the risk-informed approach for the new nuclear reactor system. That is under discussion now. Such kind of the same goal and having a discussion should be very important. But unfortunately in Japan, because of the independence is too very restricted, therefore not so big discussion has been done. So this is some kind of bad practice. So I strongly recommend you to discussion to going for the same goal of the nuclear safety. So but the Japanese is some kind of the reverse attack direction. Direction should be the same. So I strongly recommend you to have a discussion on the safety goal on the nuclear safety. Everybody, including the main stakeholders, including the regulatory body, industry, and the government, and also the local people, everybody's expectation is nuclear safety. So that is my recommendation from learning from the Japanese bad practice.
That's a really good advice for us. Thank you so much. And now maybe we will talk about technology also, as I think that technology is the one thing that the cooperation between the industry, between government, between regulatory bodies is really, really important. So how can technology transfer be facilitated between established nuclear countries and newcomer countries to ensure the safe implementation and operation of nuclear program. What is your thoughts and your advice in this topic? Maybe Mr. Toba-san, you will start.
Yes, from vendor country, it should be included contract documents and very clearly define the condition of the technology transfer. And from other countries, by joining WANO, World and Nuclear and Operators, Association of Nuclear Operators, and by joining earlier to the WANO to get and good operational experience of many countries. As already said, we are in the same boat. So the world operators are very willing to share the experience. And even the construction stage, you can join the WANO and to get enough information of operators.
Kaspar?
Yes, I agree. I think WANO is a great source of information, especially operational information. But it is more complicated if it's a technology that is so young, as for example the BWR X300. Even though there are countries that have long history in running nuclear facilities, it will also be new facility for them. But I really like when we talk about knowledge transfer. For example, there is a cooperation between GE Hitachi and KSU in Sweden, who are the organization that teaches operators in Sweden. So they are collaborating to make a kind of a knowledge hub for BWR X300 in Europe, where both Polish, Estonian, maybe people from the Netherlands can go and learn in one spot. So you have you try to focus good information in one area and then disseminate it from there. I think those type of ideas and though these push this modularization idea forward as well. There are other examples. I think also when we look at the Puskar plant or other nuclear plants that have been constructed lately, where information transfer has been very extensive. Like a lot of people have been basically brought onto the project to try to relay the information to local operators.
Ilmar, what about on the regulatory side, and if we are just concentrating for the licensing, how do you think that technology transfer could be made and could be the most beneficial?
To really understand the technology, it demands a lot more than just participating in one or something like that, because it's a start. You have to have the overview, what kind of technology there are implemented, in which stage they are, and you have the contacts when you want to have more information. But to really be able to regulate, much more is needed. So it should be great that when a country has the possibility to streamline, that they're not gonna be tomorrow like 5 different technologies on the table for the regulatory point of view. It's very hard to regulate them, and otherwise, for example, with the BWR-X, to get the understanding of the technology and technology transfer of cooperation with the regulatory body that will be licensed, the first one, is essential. The regulatory body has also the capabilities to have the Estonian regulator have the possibility to do the work for the Canadian regulator, to get the knowledge and experience of licensing and get the insights of the technology that we are talking about. It just it all the things we can plan to be ready for licensing, but it's never ever going to be enough to, to be able to say that we are smart enough to license all 50 designs that are on the table. So one at a time.
Okay, and as this development of technology is also really like a keywords, I would say. Can you emphasize also about SMRs? So how do you think the innovation will affect safety and licensing procedures?
Okay, so the currently the nuclear reactor system could be PRI, probability risk assessment, is one of the important issue for light water reactors. So it could be also applicable for the light water SMRs. And another type of reactor is a little bit still under development of the PRA. But such kind of the PRA technology could be introduced for the not only the achievement of the safety, but also the regulatory measures or something like that. So, but in Japanese experiences, PRA is not so strongly implemented in the regulation. But the United States, USNRC is based on the PRA, is strongly considering for the, especially for the SMR licensing is too. So I think that such kind of the experiences could be taken into account for the nuclear safety measures for discussions. So such kind of the technology transfers, the Japan is very behind the United States, especially for PRA. So in that time, we are invited specialist from the US specialist of the PRA is invited to our industrial institute. So such kind of the technology transfer may be one solution, I think. But still, Japanese is very behind the PRA system. But I believe that the PRA for SMR would be the very good measures for nuclear safety, for including the not only the industry but also the regulations, I think.
Do you want to comment?
Yeah, of course, innovation is a great thing, but we have to embrace the innovation. Yeah? It's the way forward, but it creates a lot of risks also, and opportunities also. So we have to consider again. It demands a lot of learning to be like a competent regulator, rather than understanding a lot of resources. And in the end, when we talking about innovation, that SMRs came, then came microreactors. Now we're talking reactors only for district heating. Then we're talking nuclear batteries. So in the end, it will have a very huge impact of conventions, laws, even the regulator. In the end, when you license the reactor, which is like walk-away safe, then okay, safeguards will stay, and then some other features that are still needed, but yeah, regulatory part in the licensing, this one will be much smaller. So I hope we one day will see it, and let's wait for the better. And the other thing that I wanted to innovation is also the fusion reactor. Yeah. So that is one thing we are waiting like 100 years. Let's see.
Let's wait more.
Yeah.
But Kaspar, as we are talking only about SMRs, how you see, is it like advantage that this is like it's like an innovation, and we are so in the beginning of this process. Is this advantage or not?
Yeah, that's hard to say, because SMR as a definition is sometimes it's great to use it, and sometimes you really don't want to use it, depending on the situation. Because SMRs, by definition, small modular reactors, we're talking about reactors under 300. Yeah, but in that category you have light water, you have molten salt, you have high temperature gas cooled reactors. So depending on which technology you are working with, SMR can be a good or a bad thing for you. So why was it so, or why I think it is so smooth for us is because we are talking about light water reactor. It's just small. That's the main big difference. If we would be sitting here talking about maybe building a molten salt or liquid metal cooled reactors, I think it would be a totally different temperature in this room. So coming back to the topic of regulation and SMRs, or let's say new technologies coming and how it will affect regulation, I think there are usually two types of regulation. It's either descriptive or prescriptive. So you either you say what you want to achieve, or you say how this has to be achieved. And those regulators who have very prescribed regulation, they will have to do a lot of changes or make new regulation to accommodate all the different technologies that are coming. But those regulators who are more goal-oriented maybe don't need to do so many changes. I don't know, maybe Ilmar has some ideas on that, but it just seems like when you are goal-oriented, safety-oriented, you don't have to prescribe exactly which measures or what type of measurements you need to take. It gives opportunities for more technologies to fit under that umbrella.
I agree, but it demands from the regulator a lot of competencies to regulate then when you don't have everything written down. But it can be done. But my point was the innovation will affect the regulations, not to become flexible, but it has to be subject change in the international conventions also, because they are written 50 years ago for to mitigate the conventional hazards from the conventional reactors. So ESPO convention, transboundary movement of transboundary impact, is it relevant for SMR, or is it relevant for microreactor? I don't know, but now every reactor has go through that, and those things are very hard to change. Will be some difficulties to how to effectively regulate and still fulfill the conditions of the conventions also.
That's true. Mr. TOBA-san?
Yes, I understand your point from the regulatory side, but still it's a big advantage for newcomer countries and only to regulate and SMRs. In case of the country with existing large reactors, we have to think about the harmonization of the large reactor regulation and SMRs. And also for the point of the public acceptance, and to introduce safer reactor is not a good idea for the public relations, because existing reactor is not safe. It's very expectable reaction from the public. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy that you pointed out the public acceptance, because that was exactly my next question. So we all know that the public acceptance and opinion play an important role in the nuclear industry, and they can have a really big impact to the whole program. So, in your opinion, what are the most important messages and activities that the, let's say, nuclear industry, regulators, and scientists could do? And what kind of information they should provide to the public and local communities to build trust and support to the program. So, Kaspar, maybe we will start.
Yeah, from the industry's point of view,
Yeah.
I think it a little bit depends on the stage of the project. So, and I can only talk of experience. When we started, our first message or our communication was all about trying to explain what nuclear energy is, how it's used, what is the safety track record, and it takes time. Because also there is some expectation from the public. At first, there is no expectation because nobody knows or nobody believes that there will be a nuclear power in Estonia. And then slowly, when things get more and more serious, the need for more detailed information is also from the public. So the public wants to know more about details about cooling water usage or opportunities for district heating or where will the power lines go and so forth. We have done a lot of work locally with areas which we think are very promising for possible nuclear power plant in Estonia. And we conduct regular information days where people can come. We usually have a topic that we want to present, but they can also ask anything. And we are willing to stay there until they have all their questions answered. We do those regularly in many different places. But this is just part of it because that's the so-called local community information sharing. There's also different levels. Sharing knowledge through lectures in universities or going to schools and giving physics lessons. But this is the current stage of the project. As the project progresses, also the information sharing with the public will be different. There will have to be updates about what are we actually doing right now, what are we planning to do in the short future, are we on time, are we behind schedule, why are we behind schedule? If something happens, then we need to explain why something happened at the construction site. And I think transparency and proactive information dissemination is really key to keep the support that we have. Because currently we do have majority support and quite a nice majority support for nuclear power in Estonia, and we want to keep that. And the only way to do that is to keep sharing information transparently.
Thank you. TOBA-san, you have also a lot of experience in Japan in this field, so in the regulatory point of view, or maybe.
Yes, it's very difficult for the public to feel safe. So for the public, it's very, with a lot of information, still very difficult to understand the nuclear technology. So only we can do is to make ourselves trustworthy. So by providing the information with easy word, and we try to always try to explain all the information. By showing this attitude, and can make ourselves trustworthy for the public. And I think it's the way to get the trust from the public. Thank you.
From the scientific and university side,
so
maybe your thoughts.
I'm the engineer, and today I talk about the filtered venting system. Filtered venting system is reduce the accidental radioactive material ejection. This is very, very important. Actually, the normal nuclear power plant has usually we have a 30 kilometers evacuation zone. Evacuation zone is very huge. But SMR, because of the inventory is small, it could be reduced. And also with filtered venting system, we can more reduce the evacuation area because of the very few amount of in case of the severe accident, very few amount of the radioactive materials releases. Therefore, it is very safe system could be achieved in engineering viewpoint. So it is very difficult to understanding how safe the nuclear system is there for the public. But such kind of the technology innovations, we may reduce the evacuation zone. So this means a safe nuclear system, safe nuclear SMR could be achieved technologically. So to explaining such kind of the advantage of the SMR, maybe the people maybe understand the merit and the demerit of the SMR systems, and especially for the SMR can industry for the industry it is very good stable energy sources. So data center or artificial intelligence or something, it is very important for the safety, steady nuclear energy supply. So local people may have a big advantage and less risk if they may understand technically, or it will be a very good chance to explain and understanding the nuclear systems to be safe, especially for SMR. That is one of the big advantage of the SMR instead of the big nuclear power plant.
Okay, thank you. Those were really like good key messages. But how do you will give this information to the public? What are your talks? How you will do it? What kind of channels you will?
For the maybe the Chernobyl or Fukushima, everybody think about nuclear reactor may have such kind of the accident. But with the advanced technology, filter venting system and the small inventory of the systems, it could be no need for evacuation or no need to think about, it should think about something, because IAEA recommended some kind of the evacuation zone. But still it is smaller than the normal reactors, I believe. So it is not easy to explaining and how it could be technologically safe for the SMR. It is passive safety system including. So to explaining and honestly, they could have a chance to understanding the merit of these nuclear systems. I believe, yeah.
Thank you. And Ilmar, what is the regulatory side now, and also like the future plan? How you should share the information, and what should be the key messages and maybe the key activities also?
It's my good place here to sit and be last, so it's a combination of everything. But trust, it's very important part of this all, because you can be as transparent as you wish, but nobody will hear you when you're not trustworthy. So building the trust is a very difficult part, and to lose it, it's much easier. It's sometimes it's enough one sentence and it's gone. So it's all, for me it's a different science. Yeah, it's the right word, because people learn for that to communicate with the masses, and you have to take into account where we are. We are very good neighbors, Finland. Stuk is very good at communication, but we have to also take into account that they have nuclear program existing since, and they have earned the trust of the people. So we have to build it with scratch. But the same words. You have to be transparent in what you do, what you plan to do, why you do it. Try to explain with simple words, with simple people. But again, always there are different target groups. For some groups, the message can be simple. The other groups, you have to be more thorough and explain the things. So right messages in the right place, right timing, all those things together. And also when we build up the regulator, we visualize the regulator how it should be. I think that a very good approach will be that in the regulator there will gonna be a governing board, which will be with distinguished scientists. It will be also some pair of independent eyes together with the independent regulator that they have technical issues sorted out, because people can see those and can assess and also ask themselves the question. So transparency is nothing new in the nuclear world. This very important issue all the time, but only few regulators have actually achieved the trust. So when we see when something happens, really happens, nobody listens to the regulator. Yeah? Everybody listens to social media and run for the pharmacies to buy some iodine tablets. So it's a hard part, but yeah, you have to be just consistent in what you do.
Okay, I will go a bit deeper. You told that about transparency and the regulatory framework, but like the really licensing process. Do you think that how transparent should be the licensing process, and are there some certain aspects to consider to ensure that transparency does not threaten the security? So can you see some threats there?
Definitely, but this part also should be explained. Why cannot be licensing procedure in the NPP 100% public for everybody? Exactly. The security issues are very important. The physical protection of nuclear material is essential. Otherwise, you cannot build NPP. So there is certain information you cannot release, but the safety-related information you should be open, and everybody should understand that this one that we are like licensing is safe. So this is the ultimate goal. And we have very many, regulators start doing it. So the benchmarking is the easy part, to take over something, but to modify it to our country's needs and to take into account the cultural approach and their level of competencies. This one really will be like different. Yeah, transparency the same, but the messages will be a little bit different.
Mr. TOBA-san.
Yes.
Transparency. What are your thoughts? Transparency in the licensing process. How crucial this is, and how far you should go.
Yes, and licensing is a good opportunity to show the public about how seriously and the operator or the government is taking into consideration the safety of the public. So by showing the transparency during this process, and it will contribute to and grow the trust and within the public. So transparency is essential for the licensing process. Thank you.
Thank you. Kaspar?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great tool for building trust, but it also is a tool for efficiency. If everything is transparent, it's much better, faster. I think it also helps the decision makers when it's easy to get to the information. And yeah, I don't have any problems with transparency during licensing. I think if I did have problems, then that would be a bad sign.
That would be a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Okamoto, do you see some aspects that is like you have to keep more like secret or what kind
secret?
Of yeah, it's like it's that's a
yeah, but
like security
I'd like
aspect.
show some example of the Japanese regulator.
Okay.
Japanese regulator meeting is all of the meeting has been YouTube
Okay.
showing on the YouTube, so everybody can see the YouTube. But every week they have lots of the meetings, so amount of the YouTube is too huge. Nobody can follow. But they said that is their transparency. But I believe that some kind of the translator, which may have some kind of the YouTube, just showing the YouTube is not enough. Maybe that they need to come to the countryside or stakeholders meeting or something to discussing and explaining how it may be safe or how we licensed this reactor, why, was, how, or something. This kind of the discussion, face-to-face discussion, not YouTube, is very important for my understandings. So this is also not a good practice, but I think the discussion with the local people or stakeholders, with an honestly discussion, maybe there are some security issue cannot be opened, but still a safety issue should be discussion with the stakeholders. That will be a good solution for the transparency, I believe. Yeah.
So everything that is about safety should be transparent.
Everything should be open.
Open, yeah.
Not
Thank
YouTube.
Thank you so much. We have less than 10 minutes, so maybe we could conclude our discussion. And I have a question to our Japanese colleagues. So what is the one main challenge faced by countries new to the nuclear technology in ensuring a high level of safety throughout the licensing process? So if you, what is the main challenge?
Maybe the lack of the capabilities of the licensing body, including technical support organization. Without enough technical background, the regulator finding faults with, for example, and to count the number of misprints on the licensing submittal documents. To avoid this, it's also prevent for the very important discussion on safety. So to prevent this kind of the situation and the capability building of the licensing body and to have a good TSO. TSO is not necessarily domestic ones, but international TSO is okay. But to have good TSO is essential for the safe and licensing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. I completely agree with the importance of the TSO, technology supporting organization. In Japan, we used to have a special TSO, but now we are JAEA is one division of the JAEA is a TSO. So it is a little bit complicated situation. So maybe the technology supporting organization development is also one of the important issue, which may my recommendation is foods organization should have a special knowledge of the probabilistic risk assessment (PRA). Or something. Of course, regulatory body does have information, but some specialist should be very important for such kind of the advanced knowledges or something. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As Estonia is working to build a nuclear regulatory system from scratch, Kaspar, do you agree what our colleagues have said, or do you want to emphasize something more, or stress out something else?
And I agree, and I think when we look at our Nordic partners, Finland, Sweden, they have many number of TSO organizations that supply technical support. Some of them are universities, and they do. They help the regulator with the workload, to be able to run all the different analysis and calculations. So yeah, I totally agree, and I think we are in a very good position here in Estonia because we have those partners very close by.
Thank you. The last word will be for you, Ilmar.
Yeah, capacity building is an important issue for a newcomer country because this is the most time-consuming part. You know, there is some position you have to have like 5-6 years at least experience that you can make some kind of decision in the regulatory side. So building out the competences is the main goal and main challenge at first. And there is different approaches to do that. TSO, of course, very important part, but we have to acknowledge that there is no TSOs in the regulatory side that could help currently in Estonia. Abroad we have, but for that, again, you need some resources to apply. And also, what about, you know, the system should be in the country to certify the TSOs. Who should do that? Regulatory should have enough competences to say that this TSO is competent, I will use this. So it's like hen and egg problem a bit. But what we are doing right now, we just acknowledging different regulatory position that we will need to fill in different stages of the licensing procedure and try to identify what kind of knowledge we have already existing in the governmental system, not exactly in the regulatory body, but the other, because in siting we need geologists, we need hydrology, that all we have already in the governmental system, so that people we can use. And basically they're like TSOs, but they're like government institutions and knowledge is already there. So we're mapping our you know, needs and try to have a solution for every need. So to be ready again. So in the end, I think after 5 years when nuclear program runs and we have some NPP running somewhere, then definitely there will be TSOs. But at first, domestically, there will be none. So we have to still license the NPP.
Thank you so much. We have a couple of minutes. Maybe someone from the audience has a question to our panelists. If that's not the issue, so I think, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.